Hi, my name is Chiqui Collier and we're in New Orleans, and today I'm going to teach you how to make authentic New Orleans barbecued shrimp. Barbecued shrimp is very dear to my heart, this particular recipe. It's something that my mom did when I was a child. My dad was a big deep sea fisher, and he would have a big party the night before. They'd go out to do a big fishing event, and my mom always prepared barbecued shrimp with lots of hot French bread. And so this recipe is very special to me. It is very important when making this dish to get the best results to use head-on fresh shrimp. These are about 20 to 25 count per pound. So we're going to start off, I have approximately 2 pounds of shrimp here, and we're going to start off with some extra virgin olive oil. And for about 2 pounds of shrimp, you want about 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. And then we're going to use some dry white wine. About 1/2 cup for this amount. And then, depending on how spicy you like your shrimp, we have some crushed red pepper flakes. I like mine mildly spicy. I'm not into the hot, so I'm just going to use a couple of pinches of the crushed red pepper flakes. You can do it according to your taste. Also, one of my favorite seasonings is lemon pepper. If you don't like lemon pepper, you can substitute a little grated lemon peel and some freshly ground black pepper. But I grew up with this and I just love it. Don't be afraid to season this very well. Remember, the seasoning has got to penetrate the peels of the shrimp. And I'm using a little bit, not too much, but a little bit of kosher salt. We're going to use some chopped garlic. This is fresh garlic that has been chopped finely. I want about 2 tablespoons of garlic. And I'm also going to use some granulated garlic because remember, we really want this to get down into the shells. So I like to, this is like my little backup insurance that these are going to really be well seasoned. Okay, now I have some dried oregano, a few good generous Italian pinches of oregano, and also some fresh rosemary. If you don't have fresh rosemary, dried will work fine. I happen to grow this in my garden and I prefer it, but a little dried would be fine. You don't need as much of fresh as you would dried. You want to be a little generous with it. It's one of the basic flavors in here, very important. Okay, and then we're going to season with some Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce. We use this a lot in New Orleans. You want a couple of tablespoons. Okay. And I think that's everything except for our bay leaves. That's our last ingredient, 2 bay leaves. And what you want to do is mix this very well. And you want this to marinate for at least ½ an hour, but no more than 2 hours, because the acid in the wine will start to cook the shrimp. You don't really want that. It'll change the texture a little. So you're going to allow this to marinate for about at least 30 minutes, and then we're going to cook it. All right, now we want to start cooking our shrimp. So I like to use a nonstick skillet, turn it on high, but you should never heat a nonstick skillet without something in it. So we're going to put a little olive oil just to glaze the bottom of the pan, and we're going to wait till this pan gets nice and hot. The reason I'm not just taking the whole thing and putting it in the pan is because of the wine. It would make it steam, and we want it more of a stir fry when we first put it in. So that's why I'm taking a utensil that has slots in it, and I'm going to lift the shrimp up out of the marinade. Now, I know everybody's saying, why are you using a skillet? This is called barbecued shrimp. But barbecued shrimp has nothing to do with a grill, nothing to do with charcoal, and nothing to do with a brown, sugary tomato barbecue sauce. It's just what the gentleman who created it, that's just what he called it, because he said they were spicy, and I guess barbecue to him was spicy. So you see smoke coming up from our pan. Very carefully, you want to lift the shrimp out of the marinade, put them into the skillet. And don't worry, we're not going to waste all these wonderful juices. If you are serving a large amount of guests, a large number of guests, you can increase the amount of shrimp just by doubling all of the marinade ingredients, but you really don't want to have more than 2 deep in your skillet. So we just want to move them around the pan until they all start to turn pink. And that's when we'll return the marinade to the pan. Now, in New Orleans, we don't have much seasons like summer, fall, winter, spring, like most of the United States. We mark our seasons by what seafood is running. And that would be crawfish season, crab season, oyster season, and shrimp season. And we're very blessed down here. We have 2 shrimp seasons, brown shrimp and a white shrimp. And right now, it's the white shrimp season. And I know that for some people that are not used to shrimp, and especially seeing them with the heads on, that this dish may not be very appetizing to them. And I understand that because I have a lot of students in my class that kind of get a little freaked out when they see the heads of the shrimp. And that's okay. You can still do this dish. Everybody can get peeled and deveined shrimp. And you can certainly marinate it the exact same way and do the same process of cooking, and then serve this over angel hair pasta, so you don't have to worry about peeling or anything like that. And you do know that because the heads and the peels are on them, this is a dish that you will eat with your fingers. And so this is not exactly what you want to serve when you're having a formal dinner party and you're using your great-grandmother's antique linen tablecloth. This is more casual dining. This is a finger food. Okay, now that all of the shrimp are nice and pink, we're going to take our marinade, and we are literally going to add every bit of this. We don't want to waste any of it. So I'm going to scrape the pan, add that in, and as soon as that comes to a nice rolling boil, which only takes a moment for it to all heat together, this is when we add the magic. And this is the little touch of our heavy cream. So for this much shrimp, we want about 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. And what the heavy cream does, it gives it this wonderful silky mouthfeel. So you get the same results that you would if you use pure butter, but this is a lot more healthy for you. And you can see as this comes to a boil again, that this would make a fabulous pasta dish. Very popular here. The original recipe for this only had 3 ingredients. It was the shrimp, it was margarine, not even real butter, and lots of black pepper. And what happened was, all of the other Italian restaurants in town noticed all of the people lined up around this restaurant to get in and eat these shrimp, even at their fine dining restaurants. And so all the restaurants in town came up with their own version. And this is my favorite, so I hope you enjoy it. Okay, now we're ready to plate our shrimp. So turn it off, and please remember, the biggest mistake that so many people make is they overcook their shrimp. And then the peels stick to the shrimp itself, and they're too hard to eat. So don't overcook your shrimp. Just let that cream come to the boil, and as soon as it does, you can plate up. So make sure that when you're serving your guests that you want to get lots of that sauce into the bowl, because that's the best part. You're going to take your hot New Orleans French bread, or any really good French bread, and serve it alongside. Now the caterer and me must garnish. And there's our dish. Serve it along with some nice hot French bread for dipping in the sauce, and bon appetit New Orleans style.